The NFL on EA Sports has come to the Twin Cities at U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis. It can certainly get loud inside this building, and just a few moments ago when the Vikings were introduced, it was downright shaking in here. They're set for football as the Vikings get ready to do battle with Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia! That's going to be a 103-yard kickoff return. What a run, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. And that right there is how you silence the home crowd.
All week long in preparation, visiting teams talk about it. Okay, we've got to start fast. We've got to take the crowd out of it, as you just talked about there. We've got to control the ball early. And in this case, forget fast start. This is a blazing start. What they've talked about all week is their offensive unit doing that. Not necessarily the guys returning the opening kickoff, but believe me, they'll take this.
And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told, as he's taken down back shy of the 20. Cousins now to throw on first down. Open man here is Conklin. And he'll be about a full yard shy of the 20 at the 19-yard line. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
At the 19-yard line.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9.
I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
They go play action. Cousins. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
So trouble already here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 9.
53 at the mic. 53.
From the gun, here's Cousins. And that will be incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Now Sproles. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10.
At their own 37-yard line.
So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10. Throwing on first is Wentz. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete. Trey Waynes, the Michigan State man, right there in coverage.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
Here's a throw right side taken in by his tight end. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. That one a gain of 20 and a first down. And he got blown up, losing yardage on the play back at the 44. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
At the 44-yard line.
On 2nd and 12, Wentz. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion. And both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to... And down he goes! They bring down Wentz on the sack. The defensive end, Daniil Hunter, drops him. And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Vikings will take over at their own 20-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simply to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion. Guys are a little bit jumpy.
You do.
Oh, you understand the same way. It's just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went
and
3
now
and
have
out.
that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Throwing, Cousins. Now a clash of bodies here, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Ronald Darby.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. So after the INT, here's Wentz. And his throw here's incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey, the intended receiver. And now it's 2nd down.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
That's caught by Howard. And they'll bring him down right around the 13. It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Let's get it. Here we go. 180. 54. Sunday. Right there.
From the gun, it's Wentz. And he connects with Ertz. And they finally are able to take him down at the opposite 47. A big play there for Philly. 41 yards. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Again, they'll throw with Wentz. And nowhere to fit that football in. It's knocked away and incomplete. Nelson Aguilar, the intended receiver. But it'll be 2nd down. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Wentz to throw again. Flush to his right. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Daniil Hunter picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. On 3rd and long, it's Wentz. And he is going to go down. They sack him on the final play of the 1st quarter. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Eagles in possession. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 20-yard line.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now, and I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
At the 25-yard line.
Here's a 2nd and 5 now from the 25.
Let's go. Junkie pistol. Leave it. Bring up 48.
To throw, Cousins. Open here, Adam Thielen. And he'll get this inside of Philly's 20 before being taken down. A big play there on the catch and run. 59 yards.
First down.
Line of scrimmage moves from their own 25 all the way to the red zone now for 1st and 10. Cousins gives way to Cook. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. The excellent play last time is followed by a much more routine gain of 3. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7.
Strip that ball. Hey, Steamer.
Throwing is Cousins. And he'll go down. Brought down at the 20-yard line. Derek Barnett able to maneuver in for the sack.
But nothing takes a start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long. 3rd and long for Cousins. Setting up the screen for Cook. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. That winds up being a 4-yard loss and leads to 4th down. And Bailey able to knock it through. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Now, that's something of a pick-me-up, and the offense certainly has struggled, but they do get the field goal before half to put 3 on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to be shut out, but let's face it, those 3 points, that's not going to solve all their problems either.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line.
Let's go.
At their own 17-yard line.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
2 minutes to play in this first half. 7-3, our score.
Let's go, baby.
Fans, a reminder, I have a note card here that says ad-lib halftime previews. So I guess let's do just that as we'll hand things over to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando when this one reaches halftime. Will I do okay?
You did great. Not a bad job.
Hey.
Writing down your ad-libs.
If you print it, I'm going to read it. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Well, let's have some fun while we have a minute here. Fantasy drafts are in full swing. I know I've got my family fantasy draft coming up, Charles. Who would be your top 3 picks? I know that you're a noted fantasy football expert, so who would you take?
Well, you've got to start with guys who are going to touch the football and put it in the end zone, right? You got to score points. How about Saquon Barkley with the Giants? You know he's going to run it. He's going to catch it. When they get
trying for the tight end, Ertz, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Harrison Smith. And he's going to score. It's a Viking touchdown. How about that for a little jolt right before intermission?
You talk about taking momentum into the half with you, and so many teams have an emphasis on trying to score in the last 2 minutes of a half to carry that with them. It's not often talked about scoring on defense, though. That's extra mo.
And now they may take the lead into the locker room as well. So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Now Wentz to try again after the pick 6. Ertz over the middle. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
They really love to get him into one-on-one opportunities, and this is one way. Work him out of the slot and create a mismatch. Who's going to cover him? Corner, safety, linebacker? He's got a way to beat all of those positions.
The throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Well, Charles, while we have a moment, you know what we need to do here is give a nod to the new Hall of Famers who were brought into Canton and inducted on August the 3rd. Champ Bailey, Pat Bolin, Gil Brandt, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, Kevin Mawai, Ed Reed, and Johnny Robinson, all part of the class.
Fantastic class. When you talk about guys who played at a top level, obviously they're Hall of Famers. But what I found interesting about it is you've got a great pass catcher, the best pass-catching tight end in history, in Tony Gonzalez. How would he like to work against his secondary? Champ Bailey and Ty Law at corner, Ed Reed and Johnny Robinson at safety. Good luck trying to get open against those four. What a matchup that would have been. But it was a terrific night for those gentlemen. Congratulations. And, of course, Ed Reed's bust will go down in history because they got the hair exactly right. And Ed had a ball up there in his Hall of Fame speech.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. Here's Cameron Johnston now as he's on to punt for Philadelphia. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. You're under a minute to go here in the half. Field position not really in your favor, but still time to try and move the ball and get in field goal range.
Yeah, you've got the lead. It's definitely a thought. Let's go ahead and try and increase it. But at the same time, I don't like the odds. I don't like where they are on the field. Got the lead. They've done well in the first half. Don't mess it up and go into halftime looking at each other wondering what if.
So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the first down run goes backwards. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And he whips that one incomplete there. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver. But now it's 3rd down.
The name of the game is always on defense, put pressure on the quarterback. And that's exactly what they've done today. It looks like they've got him a little bit rattled. That would have been the 2nd interception in the first half.
They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And they will rally and stop him short of the first down. They get him to the ground at the 26. Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. Colquitt on to kick as he sends it away. Sproles, the return. It'll be a net of 40 yards there following a 43-yard punt, 3-yard return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. You're under 30 seconds to go. Field position not great. Time to call it a half, wouldn't you say?
Well, you know we all have that little extra gene that says let's push the envelope a little bit, right? What needs to be going through the play caller's mind right now, a potential fumbled snap that can get returned, a strip sack that can get returned, right? Any of those types of plays, that should be a deterrent to calling.
That's caught inside the 20. And he is down deep into Minnesota territory. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. The Vikings have to like their position. They've got the lead. They get this football as well as we are back and underway for the second half. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ballgame.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 31 yards there and a first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead, give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They go play action here on first down. Zach Brown making his presence felt in the backfield.
Hindsight is 20/20, partner. Maybe they should have kept it on the ground again.
Well, it almost looked like the O-line was run blocking again. I mean, they opened up a big hole last time. This time they opened up a hole, and the quarterback got sacked. On second down now, it's Cook. And nothing doing here as this time the run maybe gets him back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it.
Well, that didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Black.
53 to Mike. 53. Check 53. That's right.
Cousins from the gun on third. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And he's got this to the 30 before being taken down. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
And another thing that makes the comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Rudolph on the receiving end from Cousins. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. The completion good for 3, and it's second down. That first down completion only netted him 3. Second and 7. Back to the ground. Cook. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a third and about 5.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Escaping the pressure right, and he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up fourth down.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
And it's a fake. He's going to throw it. They pass up the 3, fake it. It doesn't work. And the Eagles defense able to hold. Well, I see what they were trying to do there. You pop up your holder, roll him out. You got the option to run or pass. Just didn't work.
Not at all, and the communication was excellent defensively to make sure that receivers were covered as they escaped from the line of scrimmage, because that's supposed to be a surprise to everyone, and that's how they get free. People forget their assignments on defense. That didn't happen. And think about the guy rolling out with the football, looking for an open person, no one there.
Helpless feeling.
Helpless, because that gap between you and defenders now is going to close, and close quickly.
On first down, they run with Howard. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Let's go. Let's get this ball back to the offense. Check.
On second and 11 now. Wentz. Being chased out left. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. Aguilar has it. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 42. Wentz now 9 of 17 through the air.
I got you, boy.
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run pass option. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Well, let's see who this is on. Clearly wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
They lose the yardage, and of course they also lose the down on the grounding call, and it's quickly 2nd and long. Throwing now is Wentz. Screen pass to Sproles. They'll get nothing out of that one, and it's going to lead to a third down.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. To throw is Wentz. And that is incomplete. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard.
Vikings take over first and 10 at their own 13-yard line.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. A little less than 4 minutes remaining, and the margin for error is small with this slim lead. Operate within your 4-minute offense here, Charles?
Definitely. Remember, the 4-minute offense doesn't always correspond to what's up on the clock. What they need to do is play a little bit of keep away right now. Run the clock down. Make sure their opponent doesn't get the ball back. Their dream scenario, get enough first downs and make them eat up their timeouts so the game ends when you're kneeling down with the football.
A good pickup. They get 8, but it's third down now.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. That burst good for 20 and a first down. Following the good run by Cook, here's another first and 10. Now they'll run on the draw. Malcolm Jenkins up to make the stop. And now defensively they're going to burn their first time out. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Cook. And an alley to run. Touchdown, Vikings. Dalvin Cook, 57 yards. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Now Wentz. Ertz has it left side. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup. Wentz going to throw. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Say hello to Eric Kendricks. He gets the sack there. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Wentz's throw into the hands of Aguilar. The reception good for 7. It's third down. The Eagles on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is third down and 12. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Coverage there by the safety, Harrison Smith. Looking to erase a 2-score deficit here in the fourth quarter. Going for some big plays.
Yeah, they certainly were. They just decided one shot, didn't they? Forget trying to move the ball downfield in small little increments. Let's go for the big one. But how about the defense playing situational football, looking at the scoreboard and realizing what can hurt us most? The deep shot. They played it well.
Wentz to throw for it on fourth. And no, it's incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Vikings